After going 4-0 across all divisions, the crew from our very own Babylon Smite League let us interview their captains about their draft process, the prep leading into the first game, and how they expect the rest of their schedules to play out. Here it is. We are back, Babylon fans, now with Vayu, the best the crew have to offer up in the Tiamat division. Vayu, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good, thank you.
So, we just finished the process of doing all the drafting, all the scouters, and everything. How did your draft go for you, in your opinion?
I pretty much got everything that I wanted in my draft. When I was first drafting, I was always going to go for a support and a jungler the first 2 rounds, but I was expecting to get Mini Delvin for support, and I ended up getting Moods, who a lot of people regard as like one of the best supports in the league, on top of having like really good shot calling. So it was kind of like a nice surprise for me.
Dang, a well-crafted and thought-out plan clearly working well as you picked out a pretty easy first win, I'd say. And then, of course, after the scouting process, after the draft, you're right into prepping for the first round of games. What did you and your team do to prep for this first win?
So for the first game, we were playing against Boo House, and we knew that one of their strongest players was actually Mini Delvin, ironically enough. And we knew that for game one, he was most likely going to play Yamoja, so we were originally going to first pick that away from him. That was kind of our draft prep. But what ended up happening is they gave us Aladdin, and obviously, as many people know, it's one of the most broken gods in the game.
Yep.
So that didn't really go well for them for game one. And then for game two, we kind of knew that we wanted to target out their ADC. So that's why I played on her game one, because it's one of their ADC's like favorite picks. So it ended up giving us a really good draft because they picked Uller, Ho Yi, and Susano into a Cupid, and that didn't really go super well for them in the late game. So a pretty good first game and good draft from us, I think.
Okay, clearly more great planning is just what this team has in store for us. Of course, you've got a great first win under your belt, but looking at the rest of the schedule for the season, even playoff times, what are you hoping this team is going to accomplish?
So I really do think that this team can go really far. I think that there's a lot of good teams in our division that's going to make it tough. But I think our team is one of those teams that's just going to get better as the season goes on. And I'm really looking forward to playing against some of the really strong teams like the EV Death team and the Cyberpunk Otters Drunk team. That should be some good matchups for us.
Hello, Babylon. I have the one and only Chip Ishtar captain here for the crew. How are you feeling after your first week?
Feeling pretty good, you know. I thought we would win, but I'm just glad at how much we won by. So,
Okay, well, definitely some confidence there. You love to hear it. We are just coming off the drafting and the scouting process. How do you feel all of that went for your team?
for the actual draft, on draft day, it was a very funny day, not gonna lie. I did have a draft board of players I did want. It didn't go as planned too much.
no.
The only player I got who I really wanted was my top pick, which
Okay.
was Narwhal. But I knew I was fine as long as I had him, right? So the rest of it, I had Into the Crypts, I believe, second. And I found out mid-draft that he couldn't make default. So then I was, a little worried here and there. So I had to draft another ADC. I drafted my Go Alpha Speeder from Gilgamesh. I drafted him up. And I had to get a solo laner. Um, and yeah, I
gosh.
didn't really know besides two picks that I had. It was kind of like a gamble, and that was fun. That was very fun. We had our first scrim the day after. Yeah, day of draft. We had our first scrim, and it went really well against another top team. So I was very happy with how it turned out, even if it was a gamble. So
Hey, well,
that's
clearly you
good.
had a good plan going in. And speaking of course, you drafted or you scrimmed right after the draft. Was that like part of your prep plan, or how did you guys prep for the first week and get such a great outcome?
Yeah, so we had our first and only scrim there on Saturday
boy.
because because throughout the week my schedule kind of sucks. I can't scrim until like 10 p.m. EST, which most teams do not want to, right? And so I set up a pickup scrim for which 3 out of the 5 players of my team somehow made because the rest can't, right?
hmm
And it did happen to be 3 out of the 5 people from the gun show team, which is the one we faced week one. So it was kind of like a little mini match, like to see
Oh,
how it was gonna
nice.
go. So it was pretty well. Like I imagine they got some good info on us. We got a lot of info on them, which just kind of happened, right? 3/5 of the teams, both teams that were gonna face off in week 1, so that was good.
Okay.
As for Friday, we did have 2 other scrims with the team. I used other subs to get a feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically, I got a lot of info going into the week 1, which was very, very good. Like, game 2, it was wonky. Like, you could see, we didn't ban any of the top characters. We let them have Aladdin. But that was based off of the info I had gathered that told me I could give them Aladdin.
Okay. Well, you have, of course, secured a very nice win. The rest of your homies as well, the crew, are all 4-0, so the whole org is doing amazing. Looking ahead at your specific team's future schedule, though, do you think you have a hard schedule, easy schedule? How are you expecting the season to play out for you guys?
I think this is a very fun and competitive season. The ones I'm looking out for mainly are the last few weeks for us. We are facing against Eternal Vanguard, I believe week 6, and then to finish it off, we're facing Fallen Angels, which are the, on paper, a extremely good and talented team. So I'm very excited that those are towards the end, so we have like all the prep time, get a feel for the team. So yeah, it looks very fun season ahead.
Hello, Babylon. Welcome to a very exclusive interview with the one and only Neptune Spartan, the crew's Gilgamesh captain. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling a-okay after that win.
After that win, indeed. You got a great win, I assume because of your draft plans. Would you be able to talk us through your draft board or any problems that came up with the draft?
Actually, there was no issues with the draft because once I got everybody together, after the season started, I actually had our coach make team comps for us with our god pulls.
Oh, nice. Who's your coach?
Vayu.
So
Intro physics.
Did Vayu help you with the draft at all, or were you spitballing by yourself?
We kind of had to spitball because I don't think he can make 4. If it's any later, he can help us, but he can't do 4.
Okay, well, good to know. And then, of course, you picked up a great win this first week. The rest of your teammates in the crew also went 4-0, so a big win for the org. What was your prep like going into this first match?
The prep, we kind of just thought, like, what gods, even if we lose, what gods do we not want to deal with for the rest of the set? I said Hecate and Hunbets.
So were they permabanned then?
No, we actually got to pick them.
Oh wow, even better.
Yes, it was pretty nice, but we kind of lost game 1 because of it wasn't an issue with the comp. It was more like since it's the first game, the first set, we're not all in sync yet.
Yeah,
but we fixed it the next 2 games.
It was a great 1-2 comeback, as you heard. A big 2-1 win for the Gilgamesh crew boys. Looking ahead at your future schedule and the rest of the season, playoffs, everything else that this season encumbers for BSL, what are you kind of expecting or hope for the team?
I'm expecting our team to get even stronger because we do have Who's Evan, who's a pretty strong Delphi ADC. He just recently got back into Smite, so we're hoping to kind of forge him into how he was in Smite 1.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get the crew's Enkidu captain in a voice call for the interview, but they were kind enough to message us their replies. When we asked Shaman, how did the draft go for you? Did you have a draft board? What was your plan you had going in? Shaman thought the draft went alright. Towards the end, I got most of the people on my draft board, minus a few I wasn't able to, due to where I was on the draft. For planning, I had my scouting games, but I was mostly sitting into other scouting games to get an idea on who I wanted to draft on my board. Next, we questioned Shaman about after the draft. What did you and your team do to prep for the first game and get that win? Shaman replied, We had discussed our plan going forward in the weeks to come, but ultimately, it'll be a weekend warrior team for the most part. Lastly, we wanted to know, looking ahead at the schedule and the rest of the season, how do you feel about the team and what are your hopes? Shaman said, I'm excited about the season to come. I think as underrated as the team is, our chemistry seems to be flowing really well, even with the subs that we have, so I intend to make a playoff run and see how it goes from there.